Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats, you know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court, you know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
What's good, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Live Wire Sports Media. I'm your host, Marty. So we had, man, I tell you, the news around the WNBA just gets more entertaining than ever on a day-by-day basis. So the WNBA released a televised TV schedules for all networks day before yesterday. And comes to find out, there's some fans took to Twitter and was upset that the Fever are playing 41 out of 44 games on national television. Now, if you, again, I coined another phrase early in my video. You have to use logic over stupidity. Because the fact of the matter is that you're going to boycott games just because you don't want to see the Indiana Fever. But, okay, they might be playing your team, and you don't have no choice but to watch your team play the Indiana Fever on national television. It's no different than ESPN showing the Lakers. And I said this earlier. It's no different. When the Bulls in the 90s was at their highest peak in their first three-peat, guess what? They showed them on TV. Same thing with any team that's hot. Now, I believe the Aces has 33 and the Liberty has 32 national televised games, and the Fever has 41. But I think some of these fans are like Angel Reese fans, and they figure like Angel Reese should be on TV more. But what has she done to propel the growth of viewership to warrant that? They haven't. The Aces are previous back-to-back champs with the reigning MVP of Asia Wilson. And you have the current WNBA champ, New York Liberty, with Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu. And now they re-signed Mary Johannes. So that team is exciting, and they are in New York. So if anybody knows anything about New York teams, they're going to get coverage regardless. And then you have the Indiana Fever with the reigning Rookie of the Year, Caitlin Clark, the all-time assist leader in the WNBA. So the leader in three-point field goals in the WNBA. So, and plus, I said this in my other video that everybody wants to see what the Indiana Fever. They want to see how Caitlin Clark takes the second year jump versus the first year. You remember when last year when they put them on television that they had so many games jam-packed early that it wore the Fever down going into the Olympic break. Now they don't have an Olympic break, and they just go right into the season, to the All-Star break, and come right back and jump into the second half of the season. They don't have a month off or anything. So it's going to be fun to watch. But nonetheless, man, let me show you some of these tweets that really got things looking crazy, because these fans are out of control. And the thing about it, the thing about it is that they think that sabotaging the growth of the league. Don't you know it will hurt the CBA if they boycott? But the thing about it is they don't really know how many Fever fans or Caitlin Clark fans there is. You cannot boycott something that is not going to happen, because people go and watch regardless. There'll probably be a few People out there say, "Oh, I ain't gonna watch," but they're gonna tune in. They're gonna take a peek. Soon as your television, your computer, or your device clicks into that channel just to see, you give it viewership. So all of this nonsense about boycotting, it's just smoke and mirrors because they don't have they don't have it in them to do it. But like I said, let me show you a round of tweets. So this person said it's possible to boycott just one team games, like we all just legally stream them if they're playing one of our favorite teams. You're not gonna be able to do that. And then this person said that is the plan, because you think about it. Like I said, if the FIBA playing one of your teams and you want to watch your team play, you ain't got no choice but to tune in. You're gonna watch them regardless. You're going to pick up whatever you got, your cell phone or laptop, tablet, whatever it is you have, and guess what you're gonna do? Tune in. The fact of the matter is, these people just want to have something because they don't like the FIBA, they don't like Caitlin Clark, and that's fine. But then you just going to make it even more stronger as the season go along. This person said, "Wait, what are we boycotting?" Wait. They said, "Wait, what are you boycotting?" This person said, "The FIBA," and this person said, "I'm listening." And the other person said, "Is it possible to make their viewership drop? We all just gotta come together for it." Oh my gosh. See, stuff like this makes me laugh. It makes me laugh because the fact of the matter, you say, is it possible to make their viewership drop? How? How are you gonna make their viewership drop when half of America supports the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark? How are you gonna do that? You think a few hundred a year is gonna hurt viewership? No, it's not. You think that opening night, the Fever playing, if you gonna hurt their viewership? No. And see, these people, the way these people thinking, this is where Kathy Engelberg, as a commissioner, has continuously failed to do her job. Whether it's the refereeing, whether it's the physical abuse, whether it's the stuff that's online Twitter that's being shown, because these people are putting this stuff out there, and they're making it known. You know, you don't know if they want to come to these games to do something crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard something today, you know, after, you know, Marine Johannes got re-signed to the Liberty. And, you know, it's like, and I have a separate video for that because, you know, I like Marine's game. You know, I think she's a heck of a player. But people like, you know, targeting Caitlin Clark, saying, "Oh, well, what y'all gonna do if Caitlin Clark get injured, or she, you know, whatever the case will be." It's like you wishing injury on a player just because you don't like a player, and then you want the WNBA to go back to where it was. Don't you know, in sports in general, change comes, whether we like it or not. That's even in our personal lives, change comes. That's even on a regular job, change comes. But like I said again, people they don't use logic over stupidity. So the fact of the matter is that they think stupidly, openly all the time, because they tie to emotion and feelings. And when you tie to emotion and feelings, you never ever going to think clearly. So, and I listened to it today, and I'm like, wow, you know, you really want harm done to a person just because you don't want to see the Indiana Fever be successful. You don't want to see the growth of the league that continue to grow. If it wasn't for Caitlin Clark last year, the league wouldn't be in a position with the CBA. Don't you know, if you heard anything with sales, television, viewership, or anything, it plays a part into the CBA going into next year? This is why people don't really think about what's really going on. You want the growth of the game, but you don't want it at the expense of somebody else. But you want it to be somebody else when they've been already in the league 7 years. And I'm talking about Agent Wilson, and the league hasn't moved just enough. I mean, it's like if I take a handful of sand and throw it and it doesn't blow anywhere, it just moves a little bit. But if I had a gust of wind and I take sand and it blows and scatters, that's, you know what I'm saying, that's movement. So my thing is this: at the end of the day, these people really need to get off their high horse and stop acting ignorant. That's simple as that. And stop acting ignorant, because Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, ain't going nowhere. Because regardless whatever the Indiana Fever's success is this season, you're gonna be mad anyway. You're gonna be tuning in. The networks have to capitalize on the Indiana Fever and the Caitlin Clark effect, because they know I said it in my last video, if the Indiana Fever come out and wins 10 games, and they go 10-1 in the first, you know they're gonna get shown. Everybody's gonna be excited. Everybody wants to see them. All these arenas is gonna be packed anytime the Fever comes into town. So to sit there and wish harm on a 23-year-old girl because you think that the league hasn't been growing. The league only had minimal movement. They barely could get the CBA right the first time around. So how you think they was going to get it right around this time if they didn't have Caitlin Clark? If Caitlin Clark had stayed in college, she would have been in March Madness right now. And I guarantee you she would have came out and been the number 1 pick over Paige Beckers, over Olivia Miles. So what are we talking about? Instead of celebrate the growth of the league because of one superstar, yeah, Jordan had people hating on him. Kobe had people hating on him. LeBron had people hating on him. But they came, even Allen Iverson, he changed the game. He went to a finals. He changed the game. You know, the game, the sport needs to change, and it needs change drastically. It's not going to happen overnight, but the way y'all keep operating, it's going to continue to be this stagnant, because you got young generation of people out there that really just watch the sport just to watch the sport. They don't understand what it is. Some of them probably never played sports before. You know what I'm saying? But then they just want to comment on everything because they don't think it's right, or and their opinion matters. We all have opinion. But when you're thinking of the opinion, or you're thinking of something, or you're speaking on a topic, you have to think of it clearly and understand what you're talking about. Because guess what? Not only that you hurting, boycotting against the Fever, you also boycotting against your own team, because you're gonna hurt your own team viewership. And if their viewership goes down because the Indiana Fever go down because they not playing, and you boycotting them, guess what? You won't even know who your team is playing. You know what I'm saying? You have to hear from it. Oh, I should have turned into that game. Man, I missed it. Boom, boom, boom. Whatever the case might be. So I think I still have something else to pull up right here. All right, yeah. And then, you know, CC at CC22 Clark on X, he said, well, imagine trying to organize a WNBA national broadcast boycott during the year of the CBA negotiations. These people don't care about the players. And that's true. That's factual truth. Because the fact of the matter is that what? I just said it a few minutes ago. If you boycott against the Fever, you boycott against your own team and your own players, because you don't want to see the Indiana Fever on TV. Guess what? At the end of the day, you're just gonna have to live with it and suck it up, because it's going to happen, whether you watch the games or not. What they say? One monkey don't stop the show. Also, the Indiana Fever to feature in the WNBA record 41 national televised games in 2025. Today, the WNBA announced the complete national broadcast schedule for the 2025 season, with the Indiana Fever feature on 41 of the 44 regular season games, with all but 3 games airing nationally. The total makes it the franchise highest most national televised games in the franchise Fever history, and most by a single team in the WNBA history. So whether you like it or not, they made history, and it all because you don't want the success of the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. But guess what? They're America's team, and America's team has spoken, and the fans have spoken, and so forth and so on. So therefore, if you don't want to watch, don't watch. But trying to start a boycott, you're only gonna make yourself foolish in the end. So the each is on, but like I said, one monkey don't stop the show. Until the next time, Live Wire Sports, and I'm out.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live Wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats, you know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court, you know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.